Darknesses was composed before I came into the picture. So when I joined MetalBrook, all I had to do was create drum parts for songs that were already written. For our future endeavors, we've been trying to cooperate and communicate with one another so that we can create these songs together. This EP serves as a transition of sorts between these two different creative processes. That way, when we go into recording our second official record, we go into it with a clean slate without having to sacrifice any material.
This is Coase.
And this is the bassist, Grado.
From MetalBrook.
And we're about
to... you should already know.
Yes. And if you don't know that, shame on you.
This is the MetalBrook ViDoc.
ViDoc.
I mean, you don't know. People could have fallen asleep running a playlist on YouTube, falling asleep at their computer desk, falling asleep at their laptop or something, and like they just got a random video playing for them. It's like we don't know what the hell this is.
I am the Clit Commander. I'm the Clit Commander. We the Clit Commander.
Welcome to recording session day, where Ryu, instead of helping us record shit, is deciding to Snapchat
Hey bro,
with the
we haven't even started recording, so you can go straight to hell and suck a fat one.
Are you really Snapchatting me right now?
It just keeps sounding really like not sloppy, but like your fingers aren't quite keeping up, right? Do you know what I mean? A little bit, yeah, just like a tiny bit. Like you're not playing it like you're playing it like just a single like beat too slow or something.
I see.
Maybe you should try like following along metronome in eighth notes.
You just want to take a little breather, let the coffee go through your system. Like
I'm actually fine, really.
Okay. Okay, so then you ready to give it a shot?
All right,
eight count, and that's with the eighth note. So actually a 4 count, right? Or what would be easier for you? What do you want to do? Do you want to do like 8 count, 16, like with 16 eighth notes?
Give him an odd time signature. That'll make him happy.
All right, ready?
Mm-hmm. So the recording process itself, it took quite a bit of time because we tried recording through multiple different mediums and multiple different people, but by the time we got to a point where we were, more or less done with a song or a certain set of songs, going back and listening to them, we ran to the problem that the songs themselves didn't have the correct sound that we were looking for. Which is really no fault on the studio themselves. It's just, I think at the time we knew what we wanted, but we didn't know how we wanted it to sound.
So this is our practice space that also doubles as our recording studio. We have dampening on the walls, but there's still a little bit of echo in here, but that's completely intentional for recording drums because drums sound 1,000 times better when we record it with natural reverb as opposed to recording in a completely damp environment. We have a Soundcraft Signature 22 multi-tracking mix board. I have 13 channels hooked up for drum microphones specifically, and then 1 channel is being used for our PA system. I have a twin pair of Rode P48 microphones for the overheads, Shure Beta 52 for the kick drum, Beta 57s for both top and bottom snare, Sennheiser E604s for the tom microphones, and CAD D29 microphones for the octavons. So my speakers are currently out of commission, so what I've been using for mixing are these Sony MDRs. They have a noise cancelling and bass effect features on them to simulate a set of really good speakers. That fill sounded very sketchy.
I feel that.
Yeah.
While we're this early on in the song, I'm just going to have us redo the whole thing, okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Ready?
Yep.
because we were working with someone else, you know, a third party outside the band, you know, we had to basically work based off, you know, their constraints, you know. So ultimately we decided to do it ourselves.
We stand together as one voice, one solution. We came from nothing. Our struggles were eternal, now by our legacy, we are immortal.
Maybe start from the
That's cool.
It sounded good so far.
Alright.
Rio X, you guys would agree?
Yeah, I agree. Good. I'm surprised it took him that long to mess up.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I messed up somewhere in there.
I was listening. I mean, there was a slight little twinge early on, but
And that means that has to be redone.
Well, we'll see.
we're very judgmental of our own stuff. So, you know, we'd be pointing things out, saying, "Oh, this doesn't sound like I want it to," or "This shouldn't be like that," and this and that.
Are you dead? Okay. It took a long ass forever just to die. Like, I'm dying.
Super dramatic and shit.
I'm dying. I'm in nature. Oh.
Really what I learned from recording, honestly. I picked a little bit up from like other people that we went through, but it never really stuck to me after that. But when it comes to now, we have a lot of time on our hands to actually do these recordings. When it comes to forgetting a part or messing up the part, it really drags you down and kind of like makes you doubt yourself.
The biggest risk that pushed us into recording on our own was the fact that an outside audio engineer might have had a completely different idea of how we should sound. But there were other experiences that led us to make the decision that we did.
We could also work at our own pace, you know, so nothing felt rushed. You know, nothing. We never felt like we had to get certain things done by a certain time. We just, you know, hey, you know, we're gonna do this day. Let's just take our time with it. Go over it as many times as possible. You know, I personally, I felt like every time we went to go record with someone else, you know, we were on like time constraints. You know, and it was, I noticed it was reflected in, you know, a lot of our work. You know.
Because we would do these songs so many times that it's in our minds, honestly. It's even in our muscle memory. But when it came down to actually playing on a metronome, on an actual like timer, it was really challenging.
I always view drums as being all about power, and it's been all about the passion. Like, you can't just have a drummer who just keeps a beat.
We were recording through a family friend, and his setup was great. But the problem we ran into with that is we were recording out of his room, no real space for drums. Kind of had to just stick with like a drum track. We felt that some of the tracks that we laid on there were too generic, or we couldn't find one that fit the song well. So eventually we kind of dropped it.
What other recording experiences do the boys in MetalBrook have in store for us? Or maybe we'll actually get to see them record some instruments. Or maybe we'll get a little bit personal with the band, and we'll Credo ever beat Bloody Palace in Devil May Cry 4.
You mother...
Find out next time on MetalBrook Clean Slate.